This princess is a marriage junkie. She kills a marriageable young man every day to satisfy her fetish. The suitor must first play hide and seek with her, but if the princess finds him, she'd have to be executed. Until the 17th poor boy appeared. Just this morning, Mike was fishing on the beach with his uncle. He caught a big fish in his net, but it was too big. He couldn't pull it by himself, so he asked Mike to help him, but the fish struggled harder. They couldn't pull the fish to shore with all their might. Then his uncle came up with an idea. He went home and got an axe to knock the fish out. The uncle told Mike to hold the fish steady. Don't let it get away. He was on his way, but as soon as his uncle left, a strange thing happened. While Mike was having a tug-of-war with the big fish spoke. Good boy, let me go. I have a bunch of kids. Please let my mom go. Mike had a good heart. When he heard that, he remembered that he was also a motherless child. His heart immediately softened, but he was afraid of his uncle's scolding. He didn't know what to do. At that moment, his uncle came with an axe. Mike pretended to slip. The fish escaped with the net. The uncle had lost his net. He yelled at Mike for being a loser. He wanted to throw Mike into the sea. Mike was cornered on a cliff with no way out. Luckily, the big fish appeared just in time. Mike didn't have time to think. He jumped on the back of the big fish and left. It wasn't long before he came to a desert, but he was stopped by an anaconda. Mike was shocked and ran. The python kept chasing Mike. Mike ran around it. The python got himself caught on a rocky pillar. He climbed up the hill. He was able to escape, but the python had its eye on the bird's nest. If he can't eat a living person, a couple of vultures wouldn't go amiss. So the python climbed up to the nest, but he ignored Mike. Mike raised a boulder and brought it down hard. He hit the python right on the head. The python screamed and fell. Mike threw another boulder. The python died instantly. At that moment, the mother vulture came back. After learning what happened, to show her gratitude, she plucked a feather and gave it to Mike, and promised to help Mike with anything, that he would help in any way he could. After he said goodbye to the vultures, Mike would do one more good deed. 5 little foxes came crying. The mother fox was caught in a trap. Mike, the good man, was about to help. He was stopped by the hunter who came back. Mike secretly let the hunter's horse go, so he saved the mother fox, and the mother fox made a promise. If Mike was in trouble, if he shouted 3 times for the firefox, and she'd be right there to help. That day Mike came to the market, and saw a young man with a yoke. He was curious and asked the old man about him. The princess of the city was 30 years old. She hadn't married yet. She likes to play hide and seek with her suitors. Anyone she finds will be beheaded, and she won every time, because she has a magic mirror. Today is exactly the 16th, so Mike came to the palace. He challenged the princess to a marriage proposal. The princess had a magic mirror. Naturally, she looked down on Mike, but she said yes. Mike found the mother of the fish he had let go. He explained his purpose. He jumped into the belly of the big fish and swam out into the deep, but it didn't work. The princess found him in her magic mirror. Mike was about to be beheaded, so he had a brilliant idea. He laughed at the princess and said she could only use the mirror once. The king, in order to marry off his daughter, the king promised to give Mike 3 chances, and so Mike's life was renewed. He took out a feather. This time he could fly up to the sky, right? But he underestimated the power of the magic mirror. She took out the magic mirror and used it 3 times, and she found him. As the vulture landed to drink, the enemy came out of the reeds. Arrows were fired. The vulture was outnumbered and escaped. Mike was caught again. His last life. Mike's hopes rested on the firefox. In the dead of night, the mother fox's family went out. She dug a hole in the ground. The princess looked through the magic mirror, but there was no sign of Mike. She never thought that Mike was hiding under her feet. Mike came out of the ground. The queen was overjoyed. She announced that the princess would marry him. The king also declared a 3-day national holiday to celebrate her wedding. But when the king had made all the arrangements, on the day of the wedding, the groom didn't show up. Mike told them only a devil could match a vicious princess. He left. The princess was furious when she heard this. She ran back to her room in a hurry to check the groom's position in the magic mirror. But as soon as she saw Mike's smug face, she couldn't control her anger any longer. She smashed the mirror to pieces, and Mike and the animals left happily.